You need to study, and so do I.
Welcome back to Prep With Me, where you and I prepare for the SHRM exam one short lesson at a time. The guide for our study journey is the SHRM Body of Applied Skills and Knowledge, or BASK. Today we're starting the ethical practice sub-competencies with personal integrity, one of the most important, intuitive, and consistently tested behaviors in HR. Personal integrity is the internal moral compass that guides your behavior even when it's difficult, inconvenient, or unrewarded. SHRM defines it as demonstrates high levels of integrity in personal relationships and behaviors. This is about your own behavior, not organizational processes. There are 4 key proficiency indicators within personal integrity, and we'll go through them now. Key proficiency indicator 1 shows consistency between stated and enacted values. This means you don't compromise your ethics, you don't say one thing and do another, and your actions align with your values and professional standards. For the test, the correct answer is almost always the one where HR sticks to honesty and fairness, even if it's hard. So here's a question. A senior leader privately tells HR they promised a candidate an extra week of paid vacation as a personal incentive if they accept a job. This benefit is not part of the company's compensation structure and is not offered to other new hires. The leader asks HR to just add it quietly so we don't have to redo the offer process. What's the best response for this HR professional? A. Add the extra vacation time discreetly to honor the leader's commitment. B. Suggest offering the extra vacation only for the first year as a compromise. C. Explain the benefit cannot be added because it violates policy and fairness standards. Or D. Wait until after the candidate accepts and then revisit the benefit with leadership. The correct answer is C. Explain the benefit cannot be added because it violates policy and fairness standards. This scenario tests the personal integrity indicator, shows consistency between stated and enacted values. Here's a breakdown. For A, add it quietly, that would violate policies and ethics, fairness, transparency. HR's responsibility is to be an ethics steward. SHRM does not reward creative bending of rules or partial or temporary exceptions or delaying action in ethical matters. The answer is C, stick to the policy. Proficiency indicator 2 acknowledges mistakes and demonstrates accountability for actions. Integrity doesn't mean perfection. It just means you own your mistakes, correct them, and communicate transparently. Our mental cue here is if I mess up, I make it right. For the test, look for answers where HR admits an error, fixes it quickly, and documents the correction. Avoid answers where HR hides a mistake, minimizes impact, blames others, or delays disclosure or correction of the mistake. So here's a question. HR accidentally uploads the wrong version of a policy update to the intranet, one that still contains outdated legal requirements. The error is discovered when an employee emails HR asking why the posted policy does not match current practice. The HR professional realizes the mistake is theirs. What's their response? A. Correct the posted policy immediately and send a message to employees explaining the error. B. Notify legal about the mistake to review whether further corrective action is required. C. Quietly replace the file and prepare a communication to send later if questions arise. Or D. Thank the employee for catching the error and update the policy internally before notifying leadership. The correct answer is A. Correct the policy immediately and inform employees of the error. This option addresses misinformation right away, prevents continued reliance on incorrect guidance, demonstrates accountability, communicates transparently, and begins to restore trust in HR reliability. The tricky answer here is B, notify legal first. That's wrong as the first step, but could be reasonable later. A legal review may be appropriate after you correct, but delaying immediate correction leaves inaccurate information in circulation. Side note, this always served me well in the military. Tell on myself before someone finds out I made a mistake. On to indicator 3, recognizes explicit and unconscious biases in oneself and others, and takes steps to increase self-awareness. SHRM expects HR professionals to acknowledge that bias exists in all individuals, even themselves. Bias influences decisions, and HR must actively reduce its impact. This includes checking and investigating any assumptions, slowing down knee-jerk decisions, using structured criteria, encouraging self-reflection, and calling out bias respectfully. For the test, look for questions that have a signal word like assumption, gut feeling, favored employee, selective enforcement, informal shortcuts, unconscious bias, culture fit, or we relate better, we're so similar. I chalk these up to dog whistles of a sort. They can indicate a question that involves an HR professional required to recognize unconscious or even conscious bias. The first action SHRM wants you to take is to gather objective information. HR must not assume bias or assume any party is wrong without facts. Then, remedy actions, like coaching, can follow. Here's a question. A manager tells HR that a front desk employee doesn't seem approachable enough for customers. When HR asks for specific performance issues, the manager cannot cite any problems with accuracy, timeliness, or professionalism. They simply say, I've heard a couple comments and I get the sense customers prefer someone with a friendlier vibe. What's HR's best next step? A. Advise the manager that their concern appears biased and instruct them to stop making subjective judgments. B. Recommend immediately reassigning the employee to a non-customer facing role. C. Tell the manager to provide the employee with coaching on being more approachable. Or D. Investigate the concern by gathering objective feedback before drawing conclusions. The answer is D. Investigate the concern using objective feedback. This is a bias scenario, recognized by the wording being subjective. The manager's reasoning is vague. The concern could be rooted in unconscious bias. No performance data is there to confirm or contradict the manager's assumption. SHRM expects HR to investigate first, not accuse immediately or inappropriately shift the burden to manager or employee. Moving on to Indicator 4. Serves as a role model of personal integrity and high ethical standards. This proficiency indicator is about modeling the behavior you expect from others, speaking up when something is unethical, demonstrating fairness, and treating everyone with respect. The first three indicators were internal-facing or personal integrity behaviors, while Indicator 4 is a display of integrity to influence others. Modeling essentially means others learn by watching me. So for the test, choose answers where HR demonstrates fairness, sets the tone for ethical behavior, and behaves consistently regardless of who is involved. Avoid answers where HR will stay silent, ignores misconduct, makes exceptions to keep the peace, allows inappropriate jokes or comments to slide, addresses issues only privately when public correction is needed, or minimizes serious issues. So here's a question. HR observes a supervisor speaking dismissively to a new hire during onboarding in front of their entire team. The supervisor claims they're just joking and tells HR not to worry about it. What should HR do? A. Say nothing to avoid the tension on the supervisor's first day with this new hire. B. Model respectful communication in the moment and privately coach the supervisor afterwards. C. Report the supervisor immediately to senior leadership. Or D. Tell the new hire the supervisor didn't mean anything by it. In this example, the correct answer is B. Model, respect, and coach the supervisor. B is correct because HR must demonstrate the behavior expected of all leaders. HR cannot ignore inappropriate behavior that damages culture, especially in front of a new hire. Immediate modeling shows integrity. Then follow up with private coaching, which is proportionate and will maintain dignity of the supervisor. In this example, A would fail to uphold integrity or model correct behaviors. C C, may be premature unless the behavior is part of a pattern or severe. You can always document just in case in real life. And D, that minimizes inappropriate behavior, which will just reinforce harm and erode trust. Great work! Let's do a rapid review. 1. HR accidentally sends a report to a manager that includes confidential notes about another employee. What should HR do first? A. Inform the manager of the error and request the document be deleted immediately. B. Wait to see if the manager mentions the mistake. C. Resend a corrected report and ignore the first email. Or D. Notify the affected employee before taking any action. The correct answer is A. Inform the manager of the error and request the document be deleted immediately. Personal integrity requires acknowledging your mistake, taking immediate corrective action, protecting confidentiality, and this answer addresses the error directly. B and C both avoid accountability, and D, while a good answer, could come later but should not be the first response. Question 2. A hiring manager recently selected a candidate who was on their high school football team and is still basically their best friend. During onboarding, several team members report that this new hire is receiving early access to desirable assignments and informal coaching sessions that other employees have reportedly requested but were denied. What's the most effective action HR could take to prevent similar issues going forward? A. Assign all future hiring decisions in that department to an external recruiting agency. B. Reprimand the manager formally for favoritism so others understand the consequences. C. Develop and enforce a structured interview and scoring process for all future hiring. Or D. Require HR to sign off on this manager's next 3 hiring decisions before offers are extended. In this example, the best answer is C. Develop and enforce a structured interview and scoring process. A structured, consistent hiring process is SHRM standard for preventing bias and favoritism. It will also benefit the entire organization. For the other answers, outsourcing hiring would just offload your responsibility as an HR professional. Reprimands, while tempting, are punitive rather than corrective, and HR approvals in the process would just be a band-aid for a larger issue. The safest and most ethical fix is a structured, repeatable process improvement. Question 3. A manager consistently gives higher ratings to employees who share their background and interests. What should HR do first? A. Ask the manager to justify each rating in detail. B. Provide coaching on unconscious bias and structured evaluation. C. Allow it since the employees are performing well. Or D. Reassign the evaluations to another supervisor. The correct answer is B. Provide coaching on unconscious bias and structured evaluations. SHRM will emphasize that coaching must precede confrontation. Coaching and awareness are the first steps. An overreaction would be demanding the manager to justify each rating, but underreactive or ignoring patterns of bias, which is C or D, that does not address the underlying bias itself. 4. Several frontline employees have expressed concern that HR shows warmth, professionalism, and attentiveness when interacting with senior leaders, but appear rushed and dismissive with them. Employees say this behavior makes them feel less valued, so HR wants to demonstrate personal integrity and begin rebuilding trust. Which action is best for HR to take? A. Schedule listening sessions with frontline employees to better understand their experiences before making changes. B. Communicate to the team that HR uses a consistent approach with all employees, but of course welcomes feedback. C. Ask managers for examples of situations where HR seemed dismissive to identify misunderstandings. Or D. Reflect on the feedback and make a deliberate effort to interact with all employees in a consistent and respectful manner. The correct answer is D. Reflect and adjust behavior to treat all employees consistently. All 4 answers can feel plausible here. The scenario is testing indicator 4, serving as a role model of personal integrity and high ethical standards. This proficiency indicator is specifically about being visibly ethical, not just privately ethical, by demonstrating fairness in observable behaviors, not in private. Listening sessions, while valuable, they're not the first step. When the issue is personal integrity, those sessions belong more to a relationship management or navigating the organization type of question. They come after HR has already modeled the right behavior. Communicating that HR is treating everyone consistently, that's insufficient. It's telling, not showing. The audio doesn't match the video. Integrity must be demonstrated through action. And then finally, asking managers for examples could just delay the immediate and necessary behavioral correction. Bias or dismissive conduct does not require witness confirmation. It requires HR to model respectful, consistent behavior now, and then take longer-term actions afterwards. Great work! You just completed Lesson 12, Personal Integrity. In the next lesson, we'll move on to Professional Integrity. That's where we apply confidentiality, objectivity, and ethical boundaries at the HR professional level. If this helped you, please like, subscribe, join me for Lesson 13.